The world of technology never ceases to astonish, with its ongoing inventions and achievements as a result of its dogged pursuit of advancement. Electric plasma jet engines are one of the most insane and mind-blowing innovations of recent times. Are electric plasma jet engines the holy grail of environmentally friendly air travel, or just a pipe dream? How much of an impact will the advent of insane electric plasma jet engines have on the aerospace industry? Or are they more of a shiny diversion from more substantive advances? In this video, we show how this new technology works, how this is different from traditional technology, and how this amazing technological invention came about. Let's check it out. Everyone is aware of the problems that fossil fuel engines have caused for the environment. So many of the world's smartest and most powerful people are taking steps to lessen the impact of climate change by, among other things, developing cutting-edge technologies, like the electric plasma jet engine developed by Chinese researchers. Fortunately, a group of scientists from Wuhan's University Institute of Technological Sciences have created an air plasma jet engine, which combines air and electricity to generate thrust. We cannot anticipate aeroplanes to fly on air and electricity just now, because this engine is still in the experimental stage. But this progress is significant in and of itself, and it offers promise that jet engines powered by fossil fuels could be entirely phased out in the not-too-distant future. Around 2% of the world's human-caused carbon dioxide emissions come from the aviation industry. However, among transport sources, the aviation industry is responsible for 12% of carbon dioxide emissions, compared to 74% of CO2 emissions by road transport vehicles. While 12% might not seem like much, it's a sizable increase, and with a projected compound annual growth of 7 to 14%, it has the potential to expand even more if current trends continue. Let's first investigate how regular engines function, and then go on to the plasma jet engine. Turbojets, turbopropellers, turbofans, turbo shafts, and so on all operate according to the same fundamental concept. A jet engine draws in the air it needs to function. The front fan aids in drawing in enormous amounts of air and also in directing that airflow within the engine. The air drawn into the engine by the fans is then compressed to nearly 12 times the pressure of ambient air in the compressor. Compressed air is piped from the compressor to the combustion chamber, where it is sprayed with jet fuel from several nozzles. The fuel is transformed into rapidly expanding gases after being ignited by a spark of fire. The expanding hot gases created by the combustion are forced out of the engine's back end by the rear nozzle. This is now reduced to Newton's third law. There's always going to be something that counteracts your actions. The engine's exhaust gases propel the airplane forward as they erupt from the rear nozzle with tremendous pressure. With this thrust, the plane may move ahead. Some engines are designed so that the fans direct chilly air away from the compressor. When combined with the hot combustion air, this cold air propels the rocket even further. The vast majority of today's airplanes use what are known as turbofan engines. An afterburner, located in some engines just before the nozzle, boosts the combustion gases temperature by over 40% before they're released into the atmosphere. As a result of the afterburner's increased thrust, planes may take off from significantly higher altitudes. Afterburner-equipped turbojet engines are typically seen in military aircraft because of their superior performance during takeoff. One thing holds true across the board. No matter what kind of engine you examine, the air in conventional engines is burned using fossil fuels. Combustion, or an explosion of the compressed air, occurs within the engine. The explosion generates thrust, which propels the plane forward. Vehicles, ships, planes, and even spacecraft all require fossil fuels because of how well they burn. Because cars don't require a lot of propulsion, we've only been able to power them using batteries or hydrogen thus far. The 503 horsepower of a Tesla Model S, for instance, is more than enough for the average car used on public roads. However, jet engines cannot be replaced with electric batteries, since it would take an absurdly enormous number of batteries to operate a single aircraft. This incredible quantity of energy can be generated using fossil fuels. But is there another option? Yes, indeed. It's none other than a plasma jet engine. But before we continue, please like this video and subscribe to this channel for upcoming videos. Spacecraft routinely use plasma propulsion in space, where there is no wind resistance or gravity, hence plasma jet engines are nothing new. Due to their weightlessness, spaceships may travel at extremely high velocities with only a small amount of propulsion from their plasma jet engines. The speed of a spaceship can be greatly increased by using even short bursts of propulsion at well-timed intervals. The challenge for plasma jet engines is to overcome the resistance caused by the wind and gravity on Earth. Scientists at China's Wuhan University may have discovered a way to render fossil fuels as extinct as the prehistoric creatures they once powered. The air plasma jet engine developed by a group of students and faculty at Wuhan University uses compressed air like a conventional engine, but instead of combusting that air with fossil fuels, the plasma engine ionizes the compressed air and turns it into a jet of plasma, which then exits the nozzle, creating thrust. When the solar wind, which is carried at high speed by the Earth's magnetic field, collides with the cooler air in the Earth's atmosphere, it ionizes. When an atom or molecule undergoes ionization, it acquires a net charge of either positive or negative. Why? We'll need some scientific knowledge for this. Atmospheric gases are found in their natural state, and in this form they lack certain electrons in their outermost shell. When you heat a gas, you're essentially providing it with energy, which the atom uses to increase momentum and try to restore its stability by filling out its outer electron shell. Positively charged elements are those that give up electrons to fill out their outer shells, whereas negatively charged ones are those that take electrons from other elements. When these gases are heated to extremely high temperatures, they ionize and form a plasma. If you heat a solid, it melts into a liquid, and if you heat a liquid, it changes into a gas. But what happens if you keep heating a gas? Plasma, as you may have heard, has been formed. The superheated gases of stars are called plasma in short. In fact, plasma is the most common form of stuff in the cosmos. At this point, knowledge of plasma and the operation of plasma jet engines is complete. Why can't jet engines be built using the results of this experiment from Wuhan University to finally put an end to the dominance of fossil fuels? The experiment, however, was only ever done on a tiny scale. A steel ball weighing 1 kilogram was hoisted using only 400 watts of energy by the team. This amount of power can't even lift a light drone, let alone an airplane weighing 80,000 kilograms. Researchers believe that in and around 5 to 6 years, their model can be scaled up to the size where it can be used to power small pilotless planes and delivery drones. Airplanes and spaceships might theoretically be propelled by a plasma jet engine. However, this would necessitate massive amounts of electricity, vast energy storage capacity, extremely powerful compressors, and microwave emitters. Airplanes and spaceships cannot be powered by air and electricity instead of fossil fuels at present, but with technological improvements, this may become possible in the next several decades. As we wrap up our investigation into insane electric plasma jets, one thing becomes very clear. Technological advancements continue to challenge the bounds of human creativity. The potential for future aviation and space travel are set ablaze by these game-changing engines, which have an alluring mix of explosive power and flaming thrust. The promise of electric plasma jet engines is obviously alluring, but their use must be approached with caution. Questions and worries warrant examination, as they do with every revolutionary innovation. Before broad use of these engines can become a reality, safety, environmental impact, and economic viability need to be thoroughly evaluated. However, the promise of these engines cannot be ignored. Scientists and explorers hope that they will revolutionize air travel and open the door to interplanetary travel, as piqued by the possibilities they present. In the coming years, this technology might finally reach its full potential as scientists work to perfect it and overcome the obstacles standing in its way. The future holds both thrilling possibilities and unknowns, making it all the more important to strike a balance between being creative and being responsible. To ensure that the transition into the era of electric plasma jet engines is made with wisdom and foresight, it will take the combined efforts of scientists, policymakers, and the general public. Do you have any thoughts on electric plasma jet engines? Do you have high hopes for where this technology is headed? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.